All right, it's day 5 of the English Premier League, and of course, it's a big one. Arsenal versus Manchester City. As expected, this is going to be a very big match, knowing fully well that these are two big sides in the English Premier League. And whether you like it or not, both sides are actually title contenders. The last time these two sides met in February, it was a huge disaster, as Pep Guardiola would put it, when Manchester City suffered a 5-1 loss to Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. As a matter of fact, they conceded 3 goals in the last 30 minutes of that game. And again, Pep Guardiola described it as a disaster. Now, are we going to have a repeat of that game come tomorrow, a Super Sunday tomorrow? Is what we cannot tell now. I've got Essien joining me on this one. Essien, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks a lot. The last time you were on the show, we did talk about the fact that Arsenal actually had a huge investment as far as the transfer market is concerned. So far, they spent over about £250 million, which obviously is like the biggest spending in a very long time. And just somehow, it looks like that is beginning to pay off for the club. I mean, they've played 4 matches so far, losing just 1 and conceding just 1 goal in all of this. What do you make of the team so far?
As an Arsenal fan, first of all, I'm very, very happy at the current state of the team. I'm happy with the performances. I'm happy with the shifts the players are putting in. I'm happy with the results also because, at the end of the day, if you take a look at what we have currently, the players we have available and the players we have injured, it feels like our best is yet to come. We still have the likes of Saka out. We still have the likes of Jesus out. We still have Havertz out. So if you think about the front line we had mostly available to us last season, most of them haven't really played this season. So this is basically a makeshift or a new front line that we are trying to implement. So the players themselves, the players we have available currently, don't really have I would not say, I don't want to go as far as saying they don't have the technical or tactical ability yet, but they are putting in a great shift and they are getting the job done. So I'm hoping the best is yet to come so far.
Well, but I mean, are you surprised so far that Arsenal have conceded just 1 goal this season? Because, I mean, they seem to have, concentrated a whole lot in that defense. The fact that they've conceded just 1 goal in 4 games, and if you have to add the Champions League, I think that should be like 5 games because just a few days ago, when they were away in Spain, and they won that game against Atletico Bilbao. Yes.
I'm actually not surprised because if you think about it, if you go take a 3-year sample size, Arsenal have had the best defense in Europe, not just in the Premier League. They had the best defense in Europe. So I think they're basically just building upon the performances that we've already seen.
No, but it actually looks like they are much more better as it stands now. I mean, it's just, again, if I have to reiterate that, it's just a goal so far. And I mean, if you look at the nature of the goal that they even conceded against Liverpool, as some will say, not even 2 goalkeepers would have actually had that one saved.
And the thing is, we have not actually considered from open play this season. I know Arsenal fans, we've come to expect our defense to, be very good. I think the last time we actually considered more than 2 goals in the game was December of 2023 against Luton Town.
Oh, that's crazy.
So this is 2 years, almost 2 years, where we haven't considered more than 2 goals. So now, I don't want us to have too much expectation on the defense and say, oh, we usually consider. Yes, personally, I think we have the best defense in the league and one of the best in the world. Right? But at the end of the day, if you don't have a proper structure set up for facing some of the best attacking teams, we will most likely concede. Now, they used to say, there's this saying that attack wins games, defense wins championship. I think Arteta is actually taking that to mind. He wants to use defense and build upon whatever performances we'll be having during the course of the season. And hopefully, we hope to get a positive results going forward.
Well, obviously the same cannot actually be said about Manchester City, who actually surprisingly eighth position on the league table.
Yeah.
Um, is it? I mean, again, is Pep Guardiola beginning to lose his grip? Is he beginning to lose his position in the Premier League, or this is not just the best of times for Manchester City? Because
I
I
don't
mean,
really.
whether you like it or not, they also went to the market. They made some
Yeah.
very, very good buys, and when you look at the squad entirely, you still have the best of players there. I mean, you have a Haaland who has actually continued his. It seems there's no stopping for him. He's still scoring all the goals
Who
that
is? Yeah.
they.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't know what could be their situation right now.
the thing with Manchester City is, I wouldn't necessarily say Pep Guardiola has lost his sitting like probably the best manager in the league. I think what has happened is the quality of the teams in the Premier League have basically caught up to what Man City were before now.
Really?
Yes, yes, that's what I think. Now, yes, they have lost quality players, right? But if you look at the spine of the team,
Yeah.
that's the Centurion team and the treble winning team,
Yeah.
that spine have basically been they've lost that spine. They had the likes of Kyle Walker, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, and the likes of them. Now, the only people that are basically mainstays in that team that were not that were there before that are still available are basically Haaland, Rodri, and Stones and Diaz, right? Every other part have left or gotten older, and the players I just mentioned themselves too, they have gotten older, and the replacements for those players are not as good as those that have left. And if you look at the amount of players every other team have brought in and the quality
Yeah.
of players, I
Yeah.
basically think the quality of every other team has been raised to meet the level or possibly surpass the level of Manchester City. That's just the problem right now.
I mean, you really think so? Because
Yes, I
again,
believe so.
well, like I said earlier on, I mean, some school of thought actually believe that just maybe Pep Guardiola is beginning to, you know, lose it, especially now that you have the likes of Slot and, of course, Mikel Arteta actually, um, proving a point. They are giving the impression that this is their time. I mean, as far as the coaching team is actually concerned. I mean, when you look at coaches like Jose Mourinho as well, who was just sacked recently.
Yeah.
There's this talk that just maybe that era is beginning to fade away. Could that also be the case with Pep Guardiola? Because I think it's almost uh, unthinkable that Manchester City will start at this level. We're talking about a team that won the Premier League back to back to back. I think like three straight times,
Oh,
and
actually it was
no,
4 years in a row.
4 years in a row.
Yeah. Now, like I said, the quality has basically caught up. If you think about let me just for sake of this conversation, right? Look at the fullbacks Manchester City have right now. Compare
Mhm.
this set of fullbacks to what they had when they were winning the league. They had the likes of Walker on one end, they had Vardiol and then Zinchenko on the other end. You cannot really compare Kushanov, right? And Ake and the rest to what they have, well, what they had then in the likes of Walker. So
Mhm.
I think also Manchester City was capable of bullying teams. Then they were almost bigger and stronger and faster than almost everything, even though
Yeah.
they still had the technical players. But right now, they do not have that particular capability of bullying everybody. Basically, the whole Premier League has caught up. Aston Villa and the likes of Bournemouth have been able to recruit players that are basically bringing athletes. Everybody, the Premier League now thrives on having athletes, people that can run up and down. If you have people that have the physicality and the tenacity and the energy to run up and down, and technical enough to implement your tactics, I
Yeah.
think you should be fine.
All right.
But I think he,
All right. So let's talk about Victor Gyökeres. Um, 4 matches, 3 goals.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. What do you make of his so far? I mean, it's 4 games so far. What do you make of what he has been able to achieve in the Premier League so far?
Well, let me just put it this way. I like the stats he has had so far. However, I feel the team is not providing him with enough service. I know every Arsenal fan keep complaining this. They tend to micromanage everything about Arsenal online, which is I don't really get it. But if you look at the performances he has put in,
Yeah.
the goals he has scored almost always comes from an individual service. If we have a team that is, I know somehow it feels like we are not used to having a coach, a striker who makes those runs often. So the team has not really been trained that way. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying it for a fact. However, I think we are trying to be a little bit more direct. We're trying to, send the ball as fast as possible to Gyökeres. And with time, this is basically that attack is basically a new attack, right? So we are learning the tendencies, we are learning the idiosyncrasies of certain players. So when we have, been able to master it and build the proper chemistry, I feel he'll do better. So as it is now, I'm expecting him to score upwards of 15 to 18 Premier League goals.
Yeah, don't put in the target for him.
Yeah. I actually believe he can.
No, but I think the last time we spoke, you said something about 20 to 25. You seem to have lowered that down to 15.
The 20 to 25 was in all comps, right?
Okay, all right. In all comps, okay. So I get you now.
I believe he should be.
I think if he stays injury free, with what he has amassed so far, 3 goals in 4 games, that should not really be a huge target. If we have to go by 15 to 20 goals, it shouldn't be a huge target for him. 3 goals already. Now, another thing. So I can't really remember which of the players I was listening to within the week, and he said the only time he would agree that Victor Gyökeres is that quality striker that every team actually needs is when he begins to score goals against the top teams, Manchester City, for example. Do you agree with that thought? Because I mean, in the games he scored, I think it was against Crystal Palace and Leeds United, right? Yes. No disrespect to these teams, but of course they are not probably in the class of the top 6, as you may want to put it. So, do you agree that until he starts scoring goals against the top 6, that amount they placed on him will not be seen as justified?
I think the person that said that was, I think, Troy Deeney. Now, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's Troy Deeney. Troy Deeney actually made that comment.
With him. Yes, I don't totally agree with him, but he has a point. Now, saying for a fact that he has to start scoring against the big teams, before he's considered striker, is almost feels like you're doing a disservice to what he's been able to do against the smaller teams. Okay, take a look at Haaland. Haaland scores most of his goals against the smaller teams than the big teams. Would you say he's not a good striker? No. So I feel like, yes, take his performances in totality instead of having to say, oh, he has to score against the.
No, but of course, Haaland actually scores against the top 4. I mean, he scored against Arsenal last season.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
I'm not saying he doesn't score. He does. But most of his goals comes against the lesser teams. You get. So I don't think saying he has to score against the traditional top 6, that makes him a big striker. Now, if you think about the strikers that have moved around during the summer, he is the only one that has scored the most goals. But at the end, if you go online, hear what people are saying about him, it sounds as if he's on a goal drought. He has not scored any goal. Over the midweek, Ekitike missed basically a sitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not hearing anybody saying anything about it. If you go on Sky Sports, go on Talk Sports, everybody's talking about Arsenal. Everybody's talking about Gyökeres. At the end of the day, I feel like Arsenal gives them what they want. Basically, if you say something, you reach based an Arsenal fan, it's going to give you views. So that's basically what they do. So I try not to pay attention to all this. But at the end of the day, he has a point. Now, I'm not saying what he's saying is true in totality, but I feel like Gyökeres needs score against the big teams. He needs to, not because to prove anything, but he just
Yeah,
needs to. Me, I need him to score against Man City tomorrow. I need him to prove it out as wrong.
but
It's not like I have any.
I also think that just somehow I think the pressure isn't that much like like the first few matches, the first two matches he played in. The pressure is beginning to drop,
Yeah,
especially now that
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
has scored 3 goals. So
yeah,
I think that enough should actually set him on the path of scoring more goals for Arsenal. Manchester City. I mean,
yeah,
it was a derby last weekend, and we saw how
yeah.
they also dismantled Manchester United. Another
Yeah.
big win for them. I mean, whether you like it or not, it's actually one of the biggest matches we get to expect every season. Now,
Yeah.
it looks somehow that they are also beginning to find their rhythm. You know,
Yeah.
I honestly do not know what you make of that. But again, they have also conceded a few goals. And one player, last season, who was seen as a major catalyst in that squad was Rodri. He seems to be back now,
Yeah.
but not exactly at the best
Yeah.
shape that you would have actually, I mean, the best shape that one would actually expect of him. Is there any going to be any significant improvement or a change as far as his presence is concerned? Because a lot, I mean, there were so many excuses in that direction that the absence of Rodri actually um, cost a whole lot for Manchester City and somehow was responsible for why they finished in the position they finished last season.
Now, Rodri is Manchester City's most important player. That is without a doubt, right?
Really?
Even Pep has it. Yes, he is. Pep has said it. The teammates themselves, they know it. And if you think about the different performances they put up last season without him and when he was available before he had an injury, you could see that his absence was played a major role to their basically downfall and their of whatnot. Now they are Rodri is not yet back to full fitness. Now
Yeah.
he's playing. He's this is what I would say, right? No, I'm not just going to put this on Rodri. I think the Premier League right now, the teams are not. They are not trying to go. The top teams are not trying to go full throttle yet. They're trying to pace themselves. The Premier League is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Like this is just match week 5 they are entering. So I think they're trying to pace themselves so that at the time where they
Yeah.
get to match 20,
Yeah.
you still have enough left in the tank to when the season is now at a stage where you're now grinding out wins, you're tired, possibly you're playing twice a week with the Champions League and all, you still have enough left with the schedule that is going to come up, the congested schedule. So I think the teams are not trying to go all out. I think Rodri knows that he's coming back from a long-term injury, so he doesn't want to overexert himself. But I think they'll be fine. In all honesty, I think Manchester City will be fine. I think they are 30 contenders just like Arsenal and Liverpool. So it remains to see what happens at the end of the season. But
Well,
looking
well,
forward
well,
to it.
well, talking about injuries, I mean, this is one other aspect. Somehow, Arsenal seem to have found like a very good response in that direction. I mean,
Yeah,
last season and previous seasons, where you have one of the star players go down, you know for a fact that the team is going to struggle. Now,
yeah,
we've seen Saka out, and
yeah,
it's almost looking like uh, we're not missing anybody right now. Like Arsenal is not missing anybody right now. With Noni Madueke, who has actually been putting up the best of performances, since Saka picked up that injury. Um, I don't know. What do you make of this squad, the depth of the squad? Because, like I said, it's not beginning to. I mean, it's not looking like Arsenal are missing a player in that right wing, which seems to be the best position for Noni Madueke.
yeah. Okay, so I I actually agree with this statement, but I've been seeing it for a while now, past few weeks. That basically Arsenal have the best squad, the most depth in England and Europe. Some have extended it to that level, and which is not wrong because if you think about the players you have available now,
Yep.
we have lost Bukayo Saka, we have lost Martin guy is just come back from injury.
Yeah.
Saliba has been out, Havertz has been out, Gabriel Jesus is out, but it feels like the players we have available, players that are filled in for those players that have been out, have not lost a bit, right? We
Yeah.
are still putting up good performances. We are
There,
still
there,
putting
there
up
seems to be a huge competition in that,
exactly.
in all of those
I like it
positions.
exactly, and I like it. I think Mikel Arteta likes it too. I think that was the main priority of Andre Beta when he came in this season. He wants to build a team. Or Arteta wanted to build a team where he can have two quality players in every position,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't see. I think he doesn't see the squad as one starter, one backup.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the two players to be able to fight for the position, so that if you have someone behind you, someone who is possibly going to usurp you if you have a bad performance, it's going to also push you
Yeah,
to be able to
definitely.
put in the best performance possible. So I think Madueke had. I was one of the few Arsenal fans that was so happy when we got Madueke. Honestly, the only problem people had was because he was coming from Chelsea. If he was coming from, say, PSV that Chelsea bought him from, I think everybody would have been fine. So I don't know why we kept complaining, but I'm happy he has proved a lot of that as wrong.
Well, not exactly. Not. I mean, it's the fact that he has actually shown this quality in the last couple of matches. Actually shows, like you rightly said, quality in the player.
Yeah.
But again, I
Yeah.
still think that there's room for improvement because his timings also when he makes his runs and all of that. I don't think all of that is actually perfected, right now. I think there's actually still room for improvement. Well, again, talking about competition, I think we saw what competition means, or rather, exactly means when we had the introduction of Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli in the Champions League game against Atletico Bilbao. These positions, I mean, before now, when the competition wasn't that much, before the introduction of these new players, I mean, just maybe the competition wasn't exactly much. But right now, these guys know very well that their positions, there's no guarantee for that position. And we saw the response to that from these two guys, scoring those two goals in the Champions League.
Yeah. Now, you see, like I just told you, Ateta wants a team built on quality and depth. He doesn't want a starting 11, right? He wants a squad of players of 22 players who are capable of filling in for each other if one person is unavailable. He doesn't want a situation where if a player from a particular position is injured,
yeah,
the person who is supposed to fill in for him is going to cause the quality of the performance of the team to drop. He doesn't want that. So he wants a team that's capable of competing on all fronts. And I think he has gotten that team now. And we would see what he's capable of in the long run.
Do you still hold your position as regards the title? Who you think will win it this time?
Yes, I actually think. Now, we would say normally the defending champions deserve the favorites to win the title, right? However, I am on the strong. Seasons before now, I've usually been skeptical of us winning the title due to one reason or the other. But this is the first time I can see it with my chest. I think Arsenal will win the league.
Just the league, or at least the league.
The Champions League just started. At least the league, yes, at least the league. The Champions League is a different ball game because you have to have the luck of the draw. A lot of things. Knockout football is not like the league where you have to play everybody. You get the Champions League. You're able to avoid certain teams. The luck of the draw, injuries, and the rest can play a part. So I don't want to get to the Champions League yet. But as of the Premier League, I'm actually confident. I wouldn't want to say confident, but I think Arsenal will win the league.
Liverpool haven't lost a game so far.
it doesn't matter.
It's going to be a huge one.
If
The derby
yes,
against Everton
yeah,
for them.
which is about to start in like 20 minutes time. Now,
Yeah,
and I think the if you people would say Liverpool are winning their all their matches they have been winning from 80 minutes upwards, right?
yeah,
They will say, ah, they are stuff of champions, this and that. But I seem to remember last season, beginning of the season, when Arsenal were winning matches exactly this way, and they were saying it's not sustainable. So I don't understand why one team will do the same, exactly the same thing. They will say it's stuff of champions, and then when Arsenal does that exact same thing, they will say it's not sustainable. So let's wait and see.
Okay, so 5-1 it was in February at the Emirates.
Yeah.
What is changing now?
I don't think it's going to be as much as that, but I
O-
think Arsenal. It's going to be a
Okay,
very cagey
more
affair.
more like you hold the view that Arsenal will win this one.
Yes, Arsenal is going to win. I'm very positive.
Are you are
We are
you are
going
you
to.
are you being sentimental now, or
No, I'm not.
it's just
I'm being logical. With
okay?
the tactical approach of Arsenal currently, the defensive stability and the vulnerabilities of Manchester City, I think we would win.
When you say vulnerability, in what department now? Is it in the defense, in the midfield,
Manchester City's midfield and
or in
the
the
defensive,
goal? And
the
then
last
okay,
third.
so I think I actually forgot something which I think is very, 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 very important. The new
Donnarumma.
the new goalkeeper, Donnarumma.
Yes, we Arsenal fans have in the history of Donnarumma from last season Champions League. So I don't blame you for remembering. It
Okay,
was the reason why we lost the Champions League last season, but that's the story for another day.
okay.
So Donnarumma is a very big positive for Manchester City. But at the end of the day, we still have the structure of the team, the tactical awareness, the tactical preparation of the team should be enough to beat Manchester City.
Okay.
Now, PSG and Manchester City are not the same thing, right? I believe we will be able to play our game against Manchester City. Manchester City are going to come there with a certain level of, oh, we know these guys beat us last season, so we
Yeah.
need to be very careful. So they will always want to be, they'll try to be very, very defensive aware. And that is going to play a part, it's going to play a part in our favor because the likes of Kuzanov have this tendency of being a little bit error prone.
Oh no, but
You get?
he was actually spectacular against uh,
Yes, he was against Manchester United.
Manchester
But
United.
then again, that's Manchester United we're talking about, so I'm not surprised.
Okay,
This is
so
him. Yes,
I'm sure the fans will come for you now. The
I
fact
don't
that
have
you
a
just
problem with Manchester United.
okay.
It's Manchester United. So at the end of the day, if you ask me what I think, it's
Yeah,
not going to be a free flowing end to end game.
yeah.
I think it's going to be quite cagey, like just like the Liverpool match. It's going to be down to individual errors and individual awareness and individual qualities. But I think Arsenal will come out victorious.
Now, so the reason why I even had to ask this question is because the results, if that result turns out in favor of Arsenal, it
Yeah.
will actually um, give more credence to your position as to who will win the league at the end of the season. Because winning the Manchester City side, fine, Arsenal actually won Manchester City last season, but somehow they couldn't win the league. But again, if you look at what they have ahead of them, uh, I mean, I think their next game should be against Tottenham.
I'm not quite sure who Manchester City are
No,
playing
I mean
next.
Arsenal now.
No,
Arsenal
no, no.
next game should be against I cannot see exactly.
I don't Tottenham. Do you mean in the league or the Champions?
No, in the league. In the league,
In the league, we're
um
playing Newcastle.
okay, so Newcastle, that's another very big. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Another very big one again. I mean, Newcastle is one side that Arsenal do not find very easy coming up
Yeah,
coming up against. So
yeah.
so to my earlier point, the reason why I had to ask you what you think about the result for the game tomorrow is because if Arsenal wins that game,
Yeah.
um, it
When
will
Arsenal win that game, continue.
Okay. So let me leave it at that since you are very positive about it. So when Arsenal wins that game,
Yeah,
um, it will actually go a very, very long way as far as the title is concerned because this is the points difference will actually between Manchester City and Arsenal will actually um, become wider, and it
yeah,
becomes a two-man race, Liverpool and Arsenal. So
yeah.
a win for Arsenal tomorrow will actually go a long way in pushing them to winning the title, which you have actually talked about.
Yes. I for now, right now, I think the point difference is 3 points. We are 3 points ahead of Manchester City. So if we're able to, once we are able to pull off the winner and predicting tomorrow, we should increase the lead to 6 points, and then we take everything one game at a time. And if you think about it, we have gotten most of the. If you go through, let's say we beat Manchester City tomorrow,
Yeah,
and we're able to get result against Newcastle
yeah,
the following weekend, we have now gone through three of the basically for me
yeah.
three of the hardest fixtures we could begin the season with, which is Liverpool,
Manchester
Manchester
City.
City, Newcastle. And we
Okay,
have played two of them away already. So the remaining fixtures will now be two of them will be coming to the Emirates with the return leg, which I would fancy when. But at that point now, the league has gone in deep. We should be able to separate the contenders from the pretenders by then. So I'm hoping for a positive result and hope that this season will be it.
okay. So let me ask you this: um, the scoreline for the game, and I want you to be honest about it. Maybe you should also let me know the players whom you think should
Who will
do
score?
the damage for this one. Yes.
Okay, I think it will be 2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay. So they will
I
eventually
think
concede his second goal for the season.
yes, we will. Yes,
Okay.
I think the scorers would be Gyökeres will score one,
Okay.
and then Rice will score one.
Okay. Okay. So it's one goal for Gyökeres and another for Declan Rice. So
Yes,
who do you think will score for Manchester City? Or is it
Haaland,
okay.
the
So
usual, yeah,
okay, the
the usual
usual
Haaland.
Haaland. Okay.
Yeah,
So I hope that you will have to smile after tomorrow's game.
I'm hoping to. I'm hoping to.
Okay. All right, then again, thank you so much for joining me on my Football Extra. Hopefully, we'll get to talk about this game after the match itself and probably the other games for the weekend.
All right, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And of course, I'll see you some other time.
All right, you too. Take care.
All right.
All right.